Hello everyone, it's Evangeline Stitching here. So welcome back to my YouTube channel, and for today we are going to learn how to cut a double-breasted notch collar jacket. So first and foremost, we start by marking out our basic bodies. I've already marked out the shoulder. We'll be dividing the shoulder by 2, after which we'll mark out the bust point, the half length, then the full length, and then 1 inches for hemming. So we'll now rule it out. Please bear with me, this video is very long, so that's the reason why I applied a bit of a fast forward mode. So at the armhole length, we'll be dividing it by 2, after which we'll now come in by half inches, and then we'll connect it to give it that curved look. So I'll be covering it by 1.5 inches. So for this jacket, we'll be cutting the back pattern first before we move over to the front, because it is the back that we'll use to cut the front. So this one we're cutting out now is the back pattern. So for the neckline, I'll be making use of 1 inches by 3 inches, that is 1 inches depth and then 3 inches width. So having done that, I'll go over to mark out my round bust, which is round bust divided by 4. The round bust for this is 36 divided by 4 will give us 9 inches plus. Okay, we'll not be adding any allowance yet, so we'll just be marking it the exact measurements, and later on we'll be adding allowance after everything. So for the darts, we'll be making use of princess dart for this. There is so many darts you can use. You can make use of waist dart, you can decide to make use of shoulder dart, or you can decide to make use of bust dart depending on your choice. But for this, I made use of princess dart. So I made use of 1 inches for the dart, then I marked half inches on both sides, then I connected it to the princess dart. Remember that we've already divided our armhole length by 4, so I'll just connect it all the way to the dart line, and that will be all for the back pattern. So we'll be cutting the whole thing open, so I'll also be tracing it all the way down to the hemming line. So this is the back pattern. We'll then move over to the front. So I will not be cutting it out now. I'll just be trimming out the excesses. So I will not be cutting the dart open for now, because like I said before, we'll be using it to cut the front pattern. So that's the reason why I did not cut it open all the way from the dart. So having done that for the back pattern, we'll then move over to the front. So first and first you need to do is to make sure that you have at least 4 or 5 inches for the double-breasted wrap. So I'll be tracing it, the back, I'll be tracing the back all through on the front pattern paper. So I don't want to start marking out the front, so I'm using the back. I'll be tracing whatever I have on the back to the front pattern, and then we'll move over to cut the front pattern. So I'm just carefully tracing it all out. So the front and the back is basically the same thing. The only difference is that you have to first of all mark out 4 inches for the double-breasted style, or you can make use of 5 inches depending on your choice. And then the neckline for the back, we made use of 1 inches depth and then 3 inches width, while for the front we'll be making use of 3 inches depth and then 3 inches width. So here I'm just making sure that everything is in place. So I'll also be marking out the bust point, the half length. I'll be tracing it out, and then the full length. So I'll just roll it out because we'll be breaking it at the waistline. So that's the reason why I needed to trace out the whole thing. So this is what we are going to start working with. So like I said before, for the double breasted, you have to at least mark out 3 inches or 4 inches depending on your choice. So why making the voiceover, I now figured out that I did not position the camera well to capture some of the things that I was doing before, but rest assured you will understand it based on how I am narrating it. So here, like I said before, I'll be breaking it at the waistline. So I will then connect it from the shoulder, that is, I will connect it like this to that 4 inches that we came out with for the double breasted. So having connected it like this, we'll also be cutting out the neck, the collar together with it. So having done that, I'll remember that I said that the front will make use of 3 inches depth and then 3 inches width. So that is what I'm cutting out here. That is what I'm marking out. So after marking out the 3 inches width and the 3 inches depth, I will still come out by 3 inches by the neckline. From the neck depth, I'll come out by 3 inches like I'm doing here, and then I'll connect it all the way to the waistline. So this is what I said earlier. I came out, as you can see, I came out by 4 inches, connected it from the waist to the neckline. So at the neck depth, I still came out by 1 inch. So I'll also be connecting it all the way to the waistline, like so. So here I'm making sure that it is not sharp, making sure that it's pointed. So like I said before, we'll be cutting out the collar together with the whole thing. So for you to cut the collar, you have to measure out the back pattern, the neckline for the back, that is the neck width for the back, because that is what you use to cut out the collar. So the neck width for the back collar I had was 3.5 inches. So I went up by 3.5 inches, making sure that it was slanted and not straight. So I will be making use of 3.5 inches width for this collar. You can decide to make use of 4 inches depending on your choice. So why at the neck depth, I'll be coming in by half inches. So I'll be coming in by 1.5 inches, not half inches, sorry, and then I'll be going up by 1.5 inches as well. So while cutting it, you have to make sure that it is slanted and not just straight. So here, see the way I position the ruler to mark it out. So this is it. See where I just position the ruler, making sure that it is not straight, and then I'll connect it all the way to the other side. So here, making sure that the 1.5 inches is what I have. I'll just connect the 2 points together, and that is all for collar. The only thing you need to do is once you cut it open, once you cut it out from the main pattern, you just have to add additional 1.5 inches all the way around, because that is what you'll be using, the inches that you'll be using to join it. Or you can decide to cut it like this, depending on your choice. You can decide to just cut the whole thing together and not cut the collar separately. So I'll also be adding the same dart that we used for the back. So also be making use of the princess dart, which is 9 inches, 4 inches up and then 5 inches down, after which we'll now connect it to the center of our armhole length. So I still made use of half inches at both sides, connected the half inches at the left hand side, still connecting the half inches at the right hand side, like so. So I'll then connect the princess dart. Like I said before, there is a lot of darts that you can use, but I prefer this one because I don't know, I just really like princess darts more than any other dart. So I'll also be rolling it all the way down because we'll be cutting it open afterwards. So we'll move over to add our allowance, our joining allowance. I'll be making use of half inch all the way around. You can decide to make use of 1 inches if you are not sure, but if you have your measurement right, you can make use of half inches. I think that is enough instead of making use of 2 inches or 1 inches and then trimming out the excesses later on. So at this junction, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. Thank you very much, as I am trying everything possible to build up my engagement because I started newly. I just started this YouTube channel, so please, you can do well to support me by clicking the subscribe button. That would really be appreciated. So like I said before, I'll be adding half inches all the way down, all the way around the collar, because that is what I'll be using to join it, as well as to add the lining. So I'll just cut it open and then I'll cut open the remaining parts of the pattern, and that will be all for this. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate. Bye.